My name is Martin Windsor, and I hope you can get the sound on this. I'm having trouble with the volume. Uh, the name I have to use is Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I married a Childers. I was kidnapped and brought over to Moulton, Alabama, Lawrence County in 1941, and my own Uncle George, illegal George VI, Elizabeth's father, helped take down my dad, King Edward VIII, and who was married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor from Madison or Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, sister to Georgia O'Keefe, the artist. There was no marrying Wallace Warfield Simpson, a double did. And thus the takedown and the 99-year seal or 100-year seal placed on my father's forced abdication and my birth, that I am the legal heir to the British Crown, Victoria II. I was brought over here, and I didn't find out about my kidnapping until late 1983, and I had written a book, 76 to 80, about mind control. I'd worked for doctors and how you can modify a person's behavior, program them to, make the decisions for them, and they don't even know it. You can program people to go out and shoot, commit murders, commit suicide. So in reality, when you force them to commit suicide, it's making them look like they murdered themselves, and they didn't. But that's part of the reason that Dr. Warren and Rosina Matthews were killed in Cobb County. I wrote about them. They had worked at Piedmont Hospital, which is one of the doctors, U.S. Congressman Larry McDonald, urologist at Piedmont Hospital, that I wrote about. And the plane later went down August the 31st of 83, and I was flown out to Larry Flint's and written up an article in an editorial in Hustler magazine, and he mentions Larry McDonald in that. But so I was writing about mind control, and Warren and Rosina Matthews were murdered in Cobb County, Marietta. Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, March the 6th. If I didn't say that, I'll repeat it. Anyway, my point is, over the years, so much has happened. I've told about my kidnapping. I don't even know where my children are. I've begged, I've pleaded. I've had no money. My jobs were shut down. I actually lived on the Appalachian Trail, walked up and down the side of the highway, 11, Lee Highway, hitchhiked, walked back to Atlanta trying to find my children with no money. For a long time, the only thing I could get was companion aid, live in a few of those, and that runs out, But anyway, my point is, over the years, I had a letter from the FBI dated June the 23rd of 79. And April Fool's Day of 80, I had antifreeze put in me because this whole thing that the United States could insert their own monarch, and by the way, and kidnap me, the real heir, and take out my father and put a 100-year seal on it to cover up the biggest takedown in history and overthrow of the government, because George VI, illegal, and then Elizabeth has kept it up. They're part of the Illuminati or New World Order. And what happened is they allowed the United States to put its military bases all over everything British. Now look around you, America, if you care. What's British anymore? Just last week, Scotland almost became, quote, independent, and the only thing of UK is Northern Ireland, or would have been, Wales, and England. So look around you. There are a few countries, I think 16 to be exact. Elizabeth has been responsible, and her father, for the takedown. They're traitors and should be tried before a world court. No one had a problem in the Nuremberg trials, did they? How about the United States paying for its war crimes? And there's many. You can Google the chemical, the engineering of viruses here in this country, Center for Disease Control, Emory, all this stuff, mind control, MK Ultra, is so prevalent. They're murder weapons, war weapons, the United States employs. So now I want to say the last ones up here. It doesn't just happen where I'm at, but mind control murders are done in patterns, and these can be proven. Scott Peterson's one of them. I think his attorney is a very nice attorney, Geragos, and I think he did all he could with it. Now I want to go to the last, well, Virginia Tech is up here, Blacksburg, not too many miles from where I came up here, and I've lived on the trail, Appalachian Trail, starved, froze, and I'd try to leave and I was run back. Anyway, the point is that the April what was it, 16th of '07, the 33 the shooter was from South Korea. He was a student from Seoul, South Korea, and he shot the 32 and then turned the gun on himself. Well, he was under command to do it, mind control. He's a victim just like the people he shot. So then there's a whole list of them at Virginia Tech, and I want to reiterate about, since ISIS has come up in the beheadings, there's different ways to behead you, by the way. But there was a Chinese student a couple of years ago at Tech on Christmas Eve, and he'd been there a student at Tech for a year, and everybody said he was nice and all this. Now then, there's a female student that's been there a week from China, and they go out to the cafe, and suddenly he, out of the blue, he comes out with this knife and he chops her head off, beheads her. So that's in court records there, but they don't tell you it was mind control. And there's a list of them. Now I want to go to this, and I really hope that they find the young girl. She's from England. She's a student at the University of Virginia, Charlottesville, on the other side of me here. Now, there's a black man. His last name is, well, I'm going to, my goodness, I can't believe I'm sitting here and can't come up with it now. It's, I can't. I can't believe this. But anyway, I don't have to tell it because this has been all over television and everything. I hope they find her alive. Matthews, his last name, Leroy Matthews, yeah. He was a technician, I think, at the hospital over in Charlottesville. But anyway, she's disappeared, and they put up bulletin boards, which is great. And so many people have searched for her, and I wish them luck. And I want to make a point. In these patterns that would prove it if they ever are forced to tell it before a trial or before Congress or whatever, is the word Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I'm going to leave it at that. But anyway, I hope they find her alive. But I want to say this: I'm only going to go back to the Alexis Murphy, if this tape doesn't go off, over a year ago. Randy Taylor's tried for her murder, even though they haven't found her body. So they're trying to say, certain people are trying to say that maybe there's a serial murder, because there's other girls the last years have been, they've been killed in patterns. I don't know if all of them have. I don't have a list. But my point is, on one hand, they're saying there's a serial murder around. Well, it's the agency that's doing it. Until you stop that and you tell the truth and tell about my kidnapping, if anybody cares. I mean, it's been done in plain sight what they've done to me. And no one has helped me. They were told not to. It's been the other way around. But anyway, there's another young lady that disappeared at a Metallica concert. Her parents are very prominent here. And there's a black man that they are trying to say, or have said, that might have killed her. Okay, now then you've got Hannah Elizabeth Graham, the student I've been talking about, that's from England, as I'm from England. I was kidnapped from England. And supposedly this man, she was last seen with him, let me say that, and the police are looking for him. And yet they come out and say, well, this is one of the mothers, comes out and says, well,